welcome to Royally Reading. I'm Sam. Today I wanted to go through my October reading wrap-up. What did I actually get through? What was I supposed to get through? Let's talk about it. So in my October TBR, I had 18 books that I shared with you all that I wanted to read. I ended up getting through 4 of the ones I said I wanted to read, but I actually ended up reading a whole bunch of others. I'm still working through that TBR, so as of today, which is the early start of November, I have read 7 of my 18 TBR books for October. So we're catching up and we're going to have a new TBR and we'll see how it all goes. But first off, from that TBR, I read Alan Wake. I have a review up for this book, so go check that out already on the channel. It's been uploaded. I also made it through World War Z. I have a review of this coming soon. I meant to record it before, but I lost my voice. So when I sat down to record it, it was sounding horrible, and I was like, you know what? We'll come back to it later. World War Z. I also did get through a couple of Scooby-Doo books. I got through Haunted Castle and Carnival Creeper. I still have a stack of these, which I'm working through, that I'll probably be sharing in the next couple months. And lastly, I made it through the first volume of Vampire the Masquerade. As soon as I finish volume 2, I'll be doing a video on these. So now we'll get into my book tour books. I do book tours with different groups, and this month I was able to do 3 tours. I did one for The Coldest Winter I Ever Spent by Anne Jacobus. Very good, very bittersweet. I cried. It's a tough book to read, but it's so good. I have a review for this over at The Real World According to Sam.blogspot.com. That's been my long-term blog. So if you're interested, check that out. This is a YA book. I don't have physical copies, but I also read Dead by Proxy, which will be here. There's also a review for that at The Real World According to Sam, as well as Pringle Prawn. So go read those reviews. Let me know what you think if you're going to read them. That was it for my book tours. I try to keep it kind of smaller this month since I'm working with a lot of new projects. The last novel I read was the 6th Nancy Drew book, which is The Secret of Redgate Farm. I'm currently working on a read-through of the Nancy Drew series. This month I've actually already finished book 7 as well, but I'll talk about that at the end of the month. So those are all the novels that I was able to get through. Everything else I read was a comic. Surprise, surprise. That includes Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku, Volume 3. I've been borrowing these from one of my friends, and I love them so much. Can't wait to start on the next volume, because these have been super fun. You've probably been seeing these on my Bookstagram accounts. The rest of the comics I read, I mainly have online access to, so I'll be putting up the covers right here. So first we have Astonishing Times. This one is so fun. It's another comic that kind of discusses the superhero genre almost like Watchmen would, but it has its own twist on what people think of heroes, what heroes actually are. It reminded me a lot of Watchmen. Definitely recommend. I also read Test Kitchen Halloween, which is a Marvel Infinity comic. It's just a one-shot, so it's super short, but I love getting in a little extra Halloween reads here and again. I also read this, Scooby-Doo #1, which is pretty darn old. I'm working on reading through some more Scooby-Doo comics, and this is just where I decided to start. I also read Sheets, which I actually read several years ago, but I wanted to revisit it because I know that there are some new graphic novels coming out in its series, so I want to jump into those, but I had to revisit this one. I also read Eat and Love Yourself, which is by Sweetie Boo. I had read one of her graphic novels a couple months ago, really enjoyed it, and when I saw that my library had this one, I decided to give it a try. Really good. It's about a girl who has, she struggles with body image, eating issues. It's a very, very good book for anyone who wants to know more about that or who has struggled with that and might see themselves in the main character. I also read Nightmare Before Christmas, The Battle for the Pumpkin King, which you all might have seen on my threads or, you know, just around and about where I post things. This one is a prequel to the hit film Nightmare Before Christmas, which I'm a huge fan of. It follows Oogie Boogie and Jack Skellington as they battle to be the next Pumpkin King. It's very interesting, very fun. Definitely recommend. Sometimes when I go to the library, my sister will have some events, and I'll just grab a stack of graphic novels and go through them. So that's what these are. First off is Spider-Ham, Hollywood Mayhem. Mary Jane, she gets a role on a film that's about Spider-Ham, and he is not too keen on how they're portraying him, so he decides to go to the set and figure out what's going on and how it can be better, and instead he gets into a lot of trouble because it's Spider-Ham, so of course he did. Next up is Disney Princess, Jasmine's New Pet. I've been wanting to read these graphic novels for a little while. They're really short, they're really cute, they're for kids, but it's always fun to get a new original princess story. Jasmine's New Pet follows Jasmine as she tries to train Raja when he's very, very little and very, very rambunctious. Additionally, I read Disney Princess Ariel and the Sea Wolf, which follows Ariel as she tells her sisters stories and they don't believe her, and she makes a new friend who they all believe is scary before they even meet them. Additionally, I read Goosebumps, Horrors of the Witch House. This is a random Goosebumps comic. You can't go a Halloween month without reading at least one bit of Goosebumps. So this was my fix. This one follows 3 kids, teens, as they, have a new neighbor moving into this creepy house who ends up being a witch and causing a bit of trouble for them. I also finally got to read Splatoon Volume 1. I've been wondering how these are, and I did get to finally try the series. It's very funny. I didn't know what to expect since Splatoon is really just a turf war. And it's, there's a story, but there's not really a story, so I was wondering how they were going to handle it, and it was really funny, really enjoyable. I'm going to try to read the next few volumes of that just to see how it goes. The main team is really quirky and funny, and they shouldn't be as successful as they are, but it works for them. Lastly, of the comics I read, we have Frankenstein, which is a manga classic. I read the original Frankenstein years ago. I think it's one of the best horror books I've read that is very non-traditional. It's very fun. It's got a lot of classic language and a lot of build-up. It's a spooky story that isn't modern spooky, and that's actually what I love most about it. It's very refreshing. It's very enjoyable, and there's so many misconceptions around it that we're not going to get into those. So, those were all of the books that I read this month. I'll be doing, again, a November TBR very soon. I've already gotten started on reading. I'm off to a really good jump with that. 4 out of 18 seems pretty bad for a TBR checklist, but since I'm a mood reader, it's something I kind of expect from myself at this point. So I'll still be reading everything else on my TBR that I didn't hit, so you can still look forward to me talking about those at a later time once I get through them. If you want more bookish content between videos, you can check out Dreams of Tomorrowland or Royally Reading on Instagram. I post books, book reviews, all kinds of random pictures of collectibles and dolls and things that I get. Speaking of, I'll have new unboxing videos coming very soon if you're interested in Q-Poskets and anime collectibles. Also, be sure to like and subscribe so we can get this channel growing. I'm really excited to be starting this YouTube journey with you all and talking about books and anime and manga collectibles all the time. Let me know down in the comments below which books you'd like me to talk about next, any recommendations you have for me to read that you'd like to see here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!